Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Fame with Tiffany Renee. I am she, Tiffany Renee, and I'm so glad to see you virtually. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. This is a safe space, a safe, loving environment. No negative Neds, Nellies, Nancys, etc. This is a place for all people. All people are welcome. We talk about metaphysics, quantum physics, spirituality, anything that has to do with vibration, alignment, frequency, all things to help elevate us and get us in alignment with who we really are, and things to inspire and uplift and kind of introduce us to our true power so that we can step into it and start living our best lives. Everything on here is my own personal opinion based on my own research, learning, studying, and personal experience. Feel free to disagree. You do you do not have to agree with anything that I say on my channel. It's just personal um my own personal opinion, really, and just things that I would like to share. You know, everyone is on their own journey, and everyone is seeing the world through their own lenses, through their own personal beliefs and life experiences. And I don't expect everyone to agree with me, and that's perfectly okay. I respect whatever you believe, and as long as you respect what I believe, we're fine. Bless. That's what the world is about. I love hearing new perspectives. I love that. I love having my beliefs challenged. You know what I mean? Which I'll talk about that in another video when I talk about beliefs. But if you are here today in this video, we are going to talk about, based on the title, logic and how it kills your manifestations. Dun, dun, dun. I know, right? What a title. Logic. Logic, logic, logic. Lord, okay. Let me be clear. Logic has its place, okay? First and foremost. I'm not saying that logic is a bad thing. Absolutely not. I've never said that logic is a bad thing. Logic has value. And a lot of times we have to exercise our logic. It can get us out of danger sometimes. It helps us make wise decisions a lot of the time. Logic has its place. Logic, analytical thinking, analysis, and stuff like that, they have their place. They 100% do. I'm 100% on board with that. I agree with that. They have their place. They do not have their place in deliberate manifestation. I said it. I said it. I said it. When you are trying to call forth something into your life, you got to throw logic out the window. And I discovered that because I heard it somewhere. I think I mentioned it in one of my previous videos. I cannot remember which one. However, where did I hear it? It may have been something that Brian Scott was reading. Maybe it was a lecture. Maybe it was a quote, possibly by Einstein, or maybe Neville Goddard, or Joseph Murphy, maybe something like that. Don't quote me on it, but there was a quote that I heard through someone else on the YouTubes. And this person had said, logic is the killer of imagination. And in order to deliberately manifest, you need your imagination. You have to imagine, visualize. You have to call forth something that is not seen into the scene. And how do you do that? You do that with your imagination. You do not do that with logic. And here's what I mean by that. When you are dealing with something that you desire, let's say you need some money. We'll use that as an example. I think a lot of people can relate to that. Being in a position, being in a bind, and in financial bind, okay? And you need a certain amount of money. Let's say you need $1,000. You've got bills to pay. And you have 72 hours to come up with $1,000. Or else, fill in the blank, right? Or else, catastrophe, okay? Or else, car gets repoed, lights get cut off, water gets cut off, checks bounce, or else overdraft on the bank account, or else, you can't pay the tuition, or else can't pay for daycare, or else, fill in the blank, right? And it's either in between pay periods, can't, or you don't have a job, or your job doesn't pay you enough, whatever the reasoning is, there is this particular $1,000 that is needed, and you have about a 72-hour window before everything goes to pot for you financially, right? And you're like, well, what do I do? And immediately your conscious mind, right, is going to go to the logical side, right? I think it's the left brain, I think, is going to start analyzing all the logical ways based on what you believe to be possible in your brain, all the logical ways that it can come up with for you to get $1,000 within a 72-hour period to take care of these bills, these things, right? Whatever this solution is, right? Whatever the issue is. And payday loan. Okay, thought about it, can't do it because it's not enough, or I've exceeded the amount, or whatever. For whatever reason, can't get a payday loan, can't get an advance on my paycheck, or I can't borrow the money. Tried that, or you'll go down all the checklists of all the logical means of trying to obtain this money. And then finally you're like, okay, well, the only thing I can do that logic comes up with is just let it all just fall apart, because logic has exhausted its resources. Do you see what I'm saying? And because your list that logic has provided you, let's say 6 or 7 things, and those 6 or 7 things you can't do them, right? Or they don't work for whatever reason, then logic has exhausted its resources. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm screwed, right? And then you panic, or whatever happens, or you just completely give up and just let everything kind of go to pot, or whatever the case is, right? However you react. However, if you get rid of logic and say, okay, I need $1,000 in 72 hours. I've given logic an opportunity to come up with a reasonable, logical way for this to happen for me. And it came up with these 6 or 7 options, and none of them are feasible. None of them are working. None of them can work for whatever reason. Okay, tried doing this, tried selling that, tried trying to do this, none of them are coming up with the solution. Okay, let me try operating from a non-logical perspective. Logic gave me 6 or 7 options, right? 6 or 7 possibilities. None of them worked. However, If I operate from a place of imagination, there are infinite possibilities, or at least close to infinite possibilities, if I operate from a place of faith or imagination, right? Because that's pretty much what faith is, right? You're calling in to the unseen, calling, something that isn't there. You're calling in something that you don't already see, nor do you see a possibility of how you're going to get it. But you're like, I'm going to operate from this place. And I'm going to see, even though I can't see how many possibilities, it's more than 6 or 7. It's more than 6 or 7 possibilities in this realm over here. Okay, let's see. And I'm going to stop and I'm going to sit and I'm going to say, okay, whatever your higher power is, whatever you look to, God, I'm going to say God because I say, okay, God, you created this infinite universe, and this universe has amazing laws, and there are different timelines. There are a lot of realities, and there is a version of me right now that exists that has this $1,000 that I need to take care of WXYZ. Now, I am trusting that somehow, some way, I am going to get into vibrational alignment with one of these possibilities, one of these ways, and this $1,000 is going to show up. Or all of these bills or whatever it is going to be taken care of within the next 72 hours. I cannot think of a logical way how this is going to happen, but I'm going to trust that the universe has a bird's eye view and can see a lot more ways than what I can see, than what my logical mind can see. So I'm going to let you do your thing. And you sit back and you trust and you self-soothe and you just keep telling yourself, it is done. It's done. It's done. Whatever you got to do to calm that panicky voice, or even allow the panicky voice, but then follow it up with, which is what I usually do, and my manifestation is still coming. Learned that by Tiana Campbell. And my manifestation is still coming. I feel unsure. I feel uneasy. I feel panicky, and my manifestation is still coming. And the money is still coming. And the $1,000 is still coming. And it's still coming. And it's still coming. I can feel unsure, and the $1,000 is still coming. Like, staying in that perpetual state, if you got to say it a million times a day, and just knowing that, and it's still coming, and it's still coming, and it's still coming. I don't even have to believe that it's coming, and it's still coming. Like, just that is, you will be surprised how just doing that is enough to shift you into alignment with some, I don't know, some bridge of incidents, right? It moves the needle just enough to get you on a different timeline. Okay, I'm telling you, people, it sounds insane, but this is how, so I can't even explain to you how it works, but this is what's happening. Your frequency just moves. It moves the needle and it just puts you on a different timeline, right? And it connects you with this bridge of incidents. And all of a sudden, you go check your mailbox when there's maybe only 12 hours left. 12 hours left or 10 hours left of that 72 hours. You go check the mail. And there's some random letter from some bank that you haven't banked with in over 12 years. That there was some class action lawsuit about some bank you banked with 12 years ago. And they owed you money. And you got a $1,200 check in the mail. And just like that, there's your $1,000 within 72 hours. And you had 10 hours remaining of that 72 hours. Or you get a phone call from a relative who you haven't talked to in a long time or something. Hey, especially if they also go, hey, honey, the Lord put it on my heart. sometimes old folks, especially old Black folks, the Lord put it on my heart to call you. And I just felt like I just want to send you something. Or, oh, I never got a chance to get you your birthday present. That was 3 months ago, but I want to send you and your family something. Do you have a Cash App? Yeah, I got a Cash App. You got Venmo, you got Zelle. All right, I'm gonna send you something. Ching! It's $1,000. And just like that, within that 72-hour window, you got that $1,000. Like, it would be from sources that you would never imagine. It may not even come in a lump sum. It may come in pieces. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you and a significant other, are together, and you might get something in the mail, like some old bill. Like, say you got a refund, some random refund from a water bill you overpaid on, from a house you lived in another state 8 years ago, and it's like $570 or something. And then your significant other gets let's say overpaid on something, on state taxes or something. You know what I mean? And then got that money back unexpectedly. Just check their account and like, oh my God, I got like this additional $430 or whatever. Oh my God, there's $1,000 together. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, just by opening up the possibility, it opens the parameters of how you can get what it is that you need. If you stick with logic, you're limiting the possibility of you getting what you want. I'm saying this from personal experience. 90% of the things that I deliberately call forth into my life, there's no logic behind it. I'm being honest. Real talk, 100%. Okay. Keeping it 100 with you. Okay. You can ask any of my friends, anybody who is well aware of this deliberate manifestation journey that I've been on. They will tell you all those concert tickets and stuff. If you watch my previous videos, me manifesting front row seats to sold out shows, where front row seats, they're just not available. And it's like they haven't been available for several months. Okay. I mean, even before pandemic type, And then suddenly, just because I focused and I decided that I don't care, there's a front row seat with my name on it. I don't care what logic says. I don't care what the 3D reality is showing me. I don't care what Ticketmaster says. I don't care what the person on the phone is telling me. I don't care what anybody is saying. I don't care. I don't care what's sold out. What does that mean? I don't care. If I say I'm getting a front row seat to this show, you best believe I'm getting a front row seat to that show. I don't know how. I'm not using my logic to figure it out, because logic is like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. Does not compute. There is no way you're going to get to this show. There's no way. We've done the math for you. We've crunched the numbers, and we're coming back with a hard no. There's a no for this. I'm not listening to that, because I don't go to my logic when I'm trying to call something into my life that isn't there, because that's too limiting. If it's something that I desire, something that I want, especially if there doesn't seem to be a logical way for me to get it, I operate from logic as little as possible, because it's so limiting. It limits your scope of possibility. Expand your scope of possibility. Expand the possibility of what you can have. Because if you can dream big enough to have what you want, do not do yourself a disservice by limiting the ways you think you can get it. If you want to be a millionaire, or if you want to have constant income flowing to you, large sums of income flowing to you, this is even something that Andrea Schulman on YouTube talks about a lot as well. Do not limit yourself to thinking that the only way to get that kind of money is by having a job. No, sir, no, ma'am. That is so limiting. That is so limiting. You are a vast being, shrinking yourself down to thinking that you are only capable of getting ahead in life if you stick with a job. Do you see what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with having a career. There's nothing wrong with having a job if you love what you're doing and you know that you're called to do that thing. If you hate what you're doing, then we need to reevaluate what's going on, okay? Because you're just resistance all day long, and you're just going to get more of things to make you hate what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Law of attraction is going to see to that. But that is one source. You live in an abundant universe. There are nearly infinite sources. Like, seriously. There are so many sources for you to be well taken care of. I am a living testimony of that. I am a living testimony to that. And I am not about to get emotional. But I am telling you right now, okay? I'm a living testimony that when you live by faith and by your imagination, and like we're supposed to, I mean, we're supposed to be living that way. You know what I mean? All the religious doctrine and scriptures and ancient scrolls and ancient texts and even like the writings in ancient writings and in the tombs and in the pyramids, all that, all of them allude in some capacity to the actual divine power that we hold inside, the power of here. Okay, there's so much power up in here, you know what I mean, and that we just don't utilize. We shrink ourselves. We do it to ourselves. Nobody's doing it to us. We are doing it to ourselves. If there are any limitations out there, it's because there's limitations in here. No one is putting limitations on us. The shackles are not being placed on us. We are placing them on ourselves. We put our own shackles on our mind. We limit ourselves. Do you see what I'm saying? We do it. Break the psychological chains, break the mental shackles. Like, you are so much more than what you think you are, than what you've been taught that you are, than what you believe that you are, than what you think that you are. You're so much bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? You're bigger than your logic. Your logic has value, and it is there to be logical. But logic is not the be all end all, honey. Your imagination is, because your imagination is divine. Neville Goddard talks about that all the time, how your imagination, he says imagination is God. He says that your imagination is God. When you imagine something, you're calling it into being. You're creating something out of nothing. You're creating it out of the imaginary force, the quantum field, which is just the nothingness of the universe. You're pulling it out of the quantum field. That's the nothingness, and it's becoming a something with this. Logic didn't create these amazing things. It's the people who went against logic, who challenged the status quo, the people who went against the grain. Those are the people who we celebrate. Those are the people who we put on the pedestal. Those are the people who were groundbreaking, who shattered the glass ceilings, the people who created all of these amazing things, the technology, the cars, the airplanes. Just think about the way we harness the electricity, the way we, the pipes to have our water flowing, and the filtration, and just all of these things. Yes, it's so easy to complain about stuff in the world and humanity, stuff like that. But how about we start really celebrating and being really grateful for all the wonderful things that imagination has created? Like, these are regular human beings like you and me. that had an imagination, that just had a vision. And they sat with that vision because it had to be a vision. It had to be an image before it could be a reality. Do you see what I'm saying? Whether you want to say it's positive or negative, nothing could be unless it was imagined first. That's my point. They had to get logic out the way. There was nothing logical about human beings flying in an airplane. At that time, there was no logic in that. It was actually so illogical that the Wright brothers were considered insane. Okay? They were considered insane because nobody could see their vision. Nobody could see their imagination, but they had a divine vision. They had an imagination that was placed in them by the divine, and they saw something that nobody else could see. They were given that vision, and they saw it, and they tried it, and they kept trying until they were finally able to execute it. And now look, we can fly all over the world. Okay, we have airplanes, we have jets, we have airplanes for all types of things all over the world because because they had an imagination, because they imagined it first without logic. And then they took that imagination and then they used inspired action to create these airplanes, trial and error. And they kept doing it until they got it right. I mean, your imagination is everything. If you are going to deliberately manifest, you have got to let go of logic. Do not try to rationalize how something is going to come to you. Do not try to figure it out. Do not try to calculate it. Do not try to stop all of that. Just let it go. If you want something, just decide that you want it. Get clear about what you want. Do not worry about how it's going to come. As long as you want it harmoniously, easily, effortlessly, harmoniously, that's all that matters. Do not try to figure out a logical way for it to come to you, because you will get in your own way and you will limit the universe's capacity to bring it to you. And then you'll start thinking, oh, well, this doesn't work because I didn't get it. It's not that it doesn't work. It's that you chose to limit the parameters in which the universe can operate, because you only want it to operate within the parameter of what you can logically accept. Get out of your way. Get out of your own way. Because the truth is, faith is illogical. There's nothing logical about having faith. Nothing is logical about faith. Nothing is logical about spirituality. There's nothing logical about metaphysics. Like, there's nothing logical about it. There's nothing logical about it. If you read all the religious doctrines and spiritual doctrines, there's nothing logical about faith. Nothing. There's no logic involved. There's no logic in staying true to a vision when all you see is evidence of the contrary. There is no logic in holding true to your desire when everything around you is telling you that it's not coming. There's no logic in that. There is no logic in trusting in a higher source, in trusting that God and the universe is conspiring in your favor and putting all the cooperative components together to make sure you get what you want in the most harmonious way through the path of least resistance, when all you see is evidence to support the lack of it. There's nothing logical about that. And yet we still have faith, right? We still have faith. There's nothing logical about faith. Faith is so illogical And yet, it is so necessary. It is so necessary. So, I know this video is a little long. We're at 30 minutes. But I just really, hopefully it made sense. I felt like I was all over the place, but my mind was just going really fast because I am really passionate about this particular topic because I just see a lot of people resisting the idea that they literally can co-create their life, that they can literally call forth things into their life, that they really can just let go of the struggle. They can really allow themselves to really have the life of their dreams, the health of their dreams. I see people denying their own joy and happiness, denying themselves the opportunity to experience the best that this world has to offer for the sake of maintaining logic. Logic is not necessary when it comes to your faith. When it comes to you deliberately manifesting, there is no logic. There is no logic. There is only you. There is you and you commanding what you want into your life. Who cares if no one gets it? Who cares? If you want a Maserati and you work 20 hours a week at a little retail store and you only make 10, 25 an hour, but you say to yourself, I'm going to have me a 2022 Maserati and I'm going to have it by June 1st of this year. And you have it on your vision board, or you visualize yourself driving it. You sit in your chair every night before you go to bed and you feel the leather and you feel your hands on the steering wheel. They have something like this in The Secret. And you feel your hands on the steering wheel and you feel your hand on the gear shift and you feel your feet on the pedal and you feel your hair blowing because the sunroof is open or whatever, and you feel you honking the horn and waving at people because you got the window down. If you feel yourself in that Maserati and you feel it so well that it's like you already have the car. It's as if it's already parked in your garage. It feels like it's already parked outside. Like you feel like you have it so much that it doesn't even matter if you have the real car or not, because you drive it in your imagination every single night. There is no logical way that you could possibly have a Maserati working at a little retail store making $10.25 an hour. There is no logical way, and people will tell you, you crazy. A Maserati? Yeah, right. You know how expensive those things are? Well, and they'll talk you out of it. Why? Because it's illogical for you to say that you're going to have that by June 1st, knowing your circumstances, because it doesn't add up. The equation doesn't make sense. But as long as you know, look, this job is not the source of my supply. God is the source of my supply, and the universe has my back, and I have what I say I have. And I say that come June 1st, I'm going to have a brand new Maserati. Boom. I don't care what my circumstances say. Circumstances don't matter. I have what I say I have. And every night I visualize driving my Maserati. And you do that, I guarantee you, by June 1st of 2022, you're going to roll up. You're going to pull up on them in that brand new Maserati. It has to happen, because you will be so much in alignment with that Maserati. Somehow, some way, you might enter a contest and your name gets drawn and you won the Maserati. Somebody might, I don't know, you might be somewhere. Someone might just donate a Maserati to you. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. You might get into a little fender bender, and it may be somebody who got a lot of money but may have a lot of strikes against him or her, and they don't want nothing on there. They don't want to report it. So they might pay you a whole lot more to keep quiet and not report it to your insurance company. And it's enough to buy you a Maserati. Like, you don't know. You don't know what could happen. You could, I don't know, win a lottery. If you play the lottery, you might win a scratcher that's enough to buy a Maserati. You may get an inheritance. It may be able to buy one. You know, you may have a friend who likes to fix up cars and finds an old one that somebody sells, like a junk one, and this person fixes it up and swoops it up and decides, you know what, cousin, I got a brand new Maserati and it's gonna be your birthday. I want you to have it. Happy early birthday. And it's a brand new swooped up Maserati, completely redone. And then you got your Maserati. Like, you just don't know how it's going to come through. You've just been declaring, no matter what, I'm having, come June 1st, 2022, a Maserati's going, I'm gonna have a Maserati. It's gonna be parked in front of my house. And it's gonna belong to me. My name's gonna be on the title. Okay? I'm gonna have it. Okay? Who cares what logic says? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares if the math says, no, ma'am, this is impossible? I don't care. I don't care. I'm throwing logic to the wind. I don't care what logic says. My faith says all things are possible to those who believe, even though logic says, no, ma'am, you can't get this. According to what's going on in your life, with your income, with your credit, oh, no, ma'am, there is no Maserati in your future. And you say, bump you, logic. All things are possible to those who believe. And I believe, and I have faith, and I know that the universe, all things work out for me, best case scenario, and the universe is going to bring me what I ask for, period. And I want a Maserati. Circumstances don't matter. Logic doesn't matter. It doesn't have to come to me through a logical way. It'll be the most illogical way. Because faith is illogical. And watch you have that Maserati. And everyone's going to be scratching their head like, how in the world did you, of all people, get a Maserati? Because I had faith that I was going to get it. I knew I was going to get it. I didn't let my circumstances tell me that I wasn't going to get it. I didn't let logic dictate my life to me. I didn't let logic diminish my light. I didn't let logic shrink my possibility. I didn't let my logic create fear inside of me. I didn't let my logic keep me from dreaming big. I didn't allow logic to bully me into not dreaming big enough and truly believing that it was possible. I didn't allow my logic to take hold of me and put me in a headlock. Like, I don't have the capability to call forth things into my life that I want. I didn't allow logic to do that. Logic has its place, and when I need it, I call on it. Otherwise, stay in your place, logic, because you're not needed right now. If I want a Maserati, it will come. Period. It's coming. I don't need you, logic, for that. I didn't ask your opinion. Neither desired nor required. I didn't ask you, logic. If I need you, I'll ask you. I didn't ask you. I'm operating on faith here and my imagination. And I got my Maserati. Like, that's how you have to be when you want to manifest things. So it's not like it's not working. It is working. It's just working against you because you're limiting how it works. I hope that makes sense. So now I'm really going to wrap it up because now we're at 40 minutes. So thank you all for watching. I know this was a long video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sorry if you heard any like noise. There's a snowstorm, so there's like they're plowing and all that stuff out there. So if you are in the snowstorm, I hope you're safe and all that, or enjoying the snow and everything. But thank you for coming by. Remember, logic has its place, but not when it comes to manifestation. You dictate your reality. Allow your mind to expand, because when you do that, you open up the realm of possibility for yourself. When you open up the realm of possibility for how things can come to you, things will come to you in ways that will blow your mind. I'm telling you from personal experience. Check out my video that I posted called Birthday Manifestation, that I have about how I manifested $500 in the last hour um, of the 48 hours that I needed it to pay some bills on my birthday. So that will give you an example of what I mean by just illogical, like throw logic out the window when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to faith. Operate from faith, operate from your imagination and the realm of possibility for you to really get what you really want. It'll open up, it'll expand, and it will blow your mind. Love you all. Take care. Be safe.